When you set yourself up to do a Predator movie, you inevitably find yourself in a slippery slope. If you try to do a proper Predator movie, you end up doing something that has been done 5 times already. 7 if you count the 2 Alien vs Predator. If you don't try to make a Predator movie like the first 5, well, then you don't have a Predator movie. You see, that formula is just too tight. You know, what makes a movie a Predator movie is the Predator hunting people. There's not much you can do with it. It's the same thing with the Terminator movies. People keep making the same movie because that's what a Terminator movie is. If you change that formula, then it's not a Terminator movie anymore. It's like trying to take the slasher out of Friday the 13th. So when Dan Trachtenberg, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, took over the franchise with 2022's Prey, it was such a welcome surprise. Not because I doubted the man, I mean I love his first feature, but because it wasn't just the old formula redone all over again. That movie was great. Prey is awesome, and if you want to hear more of what I have to say about it, here's a link to my video on it. But even though Prey wasn't just like the other sequels, it didn't completely subvert the formula, and either it was Trachtenberg's plan all along to do a somewhat different movie to ease us into what he would do next, or someone called him up and said, "Yo Dan, you know that movie of yours? It is certainly different, but it's not different enough," and now we have Predator. Badlands. And to say that this movie is a different Predator movie is like the understatement of the year. And if you haven't seen the movie yet and you care about spoilers, this is a spoiler alert. In Predator Badlands, we actually follow young Yautja trying to prove himself for his clan. The Predator is actually our main character. And it's funny because in the first minutes of the movie, 2 Yautjas start speaking. They actually start talking to each other. They have a full-blown dialogue. And the movie does it so nonchalantly that my brain actually stopped working for a minute. I was like, whoa, wait. They can speak? I don't remember any of those motherfuckers speaking. But then it occurred to me that we wouldn't have a reason to see them speaking since we always only had the one Predator. Anyway, Dak's brother is killed trying to protect him, and he travels to the most dangerous planet in the universe in search of a beast named Callus. There he meets Thea, a synth from the Weiland-Yutani Corporation that got separated from her twin partner Tessa. From then on, we have them hunting the Callus and Tessa hunting them in a planet that really everything is hunting everything, in a story that shares many elements and themes with Prey. But where Badlands really shines is when it's different, completely different from anything we have ever seen in this franchise. You see, our characters are an alien hunter and a robot, and we have a story about loyalty and family ties that is really well done. This movie is truly a testimony on the power of good screenwriting, and it's proof that any story can work if done right. And I gotta tell you, up until about half of it, I wasn't a big fan of it. Up until the fight with the Callus, the movie's non-stop action, and it's not that the action is bad or anything, it's just that I need story to keep me engaged. And up until this point, the movie was pretty mid to me, but then shit happens, the movie slows down a little, and the themes of the movie really kick in, and it gets so much better. The movie goes from okay to really fucking good. And as the movie goes on, and you see that everything that happened in the first action-packed half of the movie was setting out something that would be paid off in the second half, it gets even better. I'm telling you, this movie is a masterclass in effective screenwriting. It doesn't have incredibly deep characters with incredibly deep motivations, but it tells you everything you need to know to care about the story and to root for these people. Tessa's a great villain. The dynamic between Dak and Thea is great, and it actually makes you root for the alien hunter robot duo. Other than the scripts, the action is really nice, the movie looks gorgeous, and Elle Fanning does an amazing job as the twin robots. It's an all-around very good movie, very competent one, but it does have its problems. I wish we could have seen something a little deeper between Tessa and Thea, for example, and there's a point in the movie where they even mention that they have feelings. Well, Tessa has no feelings. This bitch is cold as fuck. And I can't really see in her the character Thea was describing earlier. And then my main problem with the story is, lo and behold, with the script. It does a lot right, but there is one thing it does wrong, and it really doesn't work for me. Dak's main motivation initially is to prove himself before his clan, but by the time Thea helps him escape and he finds out Bud is the Callus' child, the narrative has completely shifted for me. Fuck the father, fuck the clan, fuck your honor. This is now about you fighting that bitch and getting your friends back. And that's what he does. And the movie should have ended the moment he defeated Tessa, but that's not what happens. He goes back to his planet and faces his father in a scene that feels like an afterthought that just doesn't fit what the movie has become. And even worse than that is how the movie ends. If you're going to do an open ending, then why not do it right after the battle with Tessa? Anyway, I could have used less comedy also, but in the end, Predator Badlands is as bold as it is competent in doing what it sets out to do. You try telling a story like this in a Predator movie and the slightest misstep could have it ridiculed into oblivion. But fortunately, my man Dan seems to know what he's doing, and Badlands is another huge win in his career.